right, so I am Nora Walsh, and I have been a health coach for almost 9 years now with Optavia, and I've been in health and fitness for 25 years. So I was introduced to this program from a friend of mine, and it really has changed not only how I can work with people in the health and fitness industry, but it's really changed my own personal life, where I did lose 20 pounds when I was introduced to this program. And I can tell you that being a health coach is one of the best things that I've ever done, because it helps me walk the walk and talk the talk of living a journey of optimal health for the rest of my life. So I'm turning 50 this year, but my health journey isn't about being 50. My health journey is really about being 60, 70, 80, and beyond. And I work on my health every single day so I can be active and feel great in those periods of my life. And tonight, I am excited to bring to you the topic of what are you hungry for? So have you ever found yourself wandering around your kitchen, opening the refrigerator, looking in the pantry? Are you really hungry, or are you just looking for something? How do we know if we are eating based on physical hunger or our emotional needs? It's a big question, but there is a big difference between the two, and I want to explain them to you just a little bit. So physical hunger is when you need to eat to fuel your body. Physical hunger comes on gradually. You may feel your stomach growl. You may have gone too long without eating. You may feel a little lightheaded, tired, irritable, even hangry. Your blood sugar may be swinging from high to low. You may even think you are hungry when you're actually thirsty. When you are physically hungry, you are open to different food options. Lots of different foods may sound good to you at the time. Physical hunger generally stops when you're full, but here's the trick. It generally takes about 20 minutes for your brain to send a signal to your stomach that you are actually full once you stop eating. And probably most importantly, eating to satisfy physical hunger doesn't make you feel bad about yourself at all. So emotional hunger is wanting to eat or snack even when you may not be hungry. Have you ever gone on search of something more to eat when you just finished a meal? I used to be guilty of this all the time. Emotional hunger comes on suddenly. It's not a gradual thing. It's like you got to have it. An emotional hunger isn't even located in your stomach. You're not going to feel your stomach growl. You may feel that need to satisfy your hunger instantly, and you may crave specific comfort foods. So when you're hungry, physically hungry, anything looks good for you. When you're emotionally hungry, it's usually certain foods that you're looking for. You may use foods to soothe yourself instead of feel your feelings and emotions. And you may not feel satisfied even when your stomach is full. Most likely you won't. Eating to satisfy emotions generally triggers feelings of guilt, powerlessness, and shame. There's so much to unwrap here, but the main place to start is to know what and where your hunger is coming from. I hate to tell you, we cannot escape our emotions. We are emotional human beings that are meant to feel those things, and food doesn't help it. But often we think we think it is just feelings of anxiety or stress or disappointment or sadness that drive us to emotionally eat. The truth is, even positive emotions can trigger us to reward ourselves with special treats. All of these feelings are constants throughout our lives and require daily management. Unfortunately, emotions can drive us to lose rational thinking around certain foods and to seek food that makes us feel good, at least in that moment. And I've had people tell me, I'm not an emotional eater. And I'm like, well, have you ever eaten when you're not hungry? They're like, sure. I'm like, that's a form of emotional eating. It doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't have to be good, but we're just looking at physical hunger versus emotional hunger. It's important to understand that the brain is in many ways a very selfish organ. It wants to feel good. It likes to be soothed and satisfied. The good news is that your brain can be disciplined with structure and putting simple systems in place. It's important to keep in mind that filling your body with food often doesn't fill your brain with satisfaction. The key here is to become aware of your own signals of hunger, thirst, stress, tiredness, all of those feelings throughout your day. And there's 5 most common triggers that can lead people to emotionally eat. As I go through these 5 triggers, I want you to think about when you've ever felt them and how often when you feel them have you personally wanted to eat because of them. So the first one is stress. Ever notice how stress makes you hungry? People are raising their hand. It's not just in your mind. When stress is chronic, as it so often is in our chaotic, fast-paced world, your body produces high levels of a stress hormone called cortisol. And cortisol triggers cravings of salty, sweet, and fried foods. Foods that give your brain a burst of energy and pleasure. The more uncontrolled your stress is in your life, the more likely you are to turn to food for emotional relief. So it's not necessarily your fault. Stress produces cortisol, which drives you to eat. The second one is your emotions. Eating can be a way to temporarily silence or stuff down uncomfortable emotions, including anger, fear, sadness, anxiety, loneliness, resentment, and shame. Often when people start this program, they say, I'm feeling a lot of feelings. Well, it's often because they're in a structure where they're not eating to shove those down. We've given you a system, we've given you a structure. So the feelings come up a little bit more raw. But while you're numbing yourself with food, you're avoiding those difficult emotions you'd rather not feel. And we want you to feel them, whether they're good or bad. The third one is boredom or feelings of emotion. So do you ever eat simply to give yourself something to do, to relieve boredom, or as a way to fill a void in your life? You feel unfulfilled and empty, and food is a way to occupy your mouth and your time. In the moment, it fills you up. It can distract you from underlying feelings of purposelessness and dissatisfaction in your life. Our fourth one is childhood habits. Think back to your childhood memories of food. Did your parents reward you for good behavior with ice cream, take you out for pizza when you had a good report card, or serve you sweets when you were feeling sad? These habits can carry over into adulthood. Or your eating may be driven by nostalgia for cherished memories of grilling burgers in the backyard or baking and eating cookies with your mom or your grandmother. And our fifth one is social influences. Getting together with other people for a meal is a great way to relieve stress, but it can also lead you to overeat. It's easy to overindulge simply because of the food is there and because everyone else is eating. You may also overeat in social situations because you're nervous, or perhaps your family or circle and friends is encouraging you to eat and to overeat. The worst is to sit at a party and have all the snacks right in front of you, right? Because you just sit there and eat with everybody else. It's easier to go along with the group than it is to stop and kind of protect yourself. So does anybody recognize yourself in any of those 5 descriptions? One of the best way to identify the patterns of your emotional eating is to keep track of them and to keep a food or a mood journal. So if you find that you are an emotional eater, I would get out a pad of paper, or even use the notes section in your phone. And anytime those feelings come up and you find yourself driven to eat,
Rescued hundreds of kids.
it's a good idea to write it down. Every time you overeat or feel compelled to reach for that version of kryptonite, take a moment to figure out what triggered your urge. We all have foods that are like our kryptonite, right? Foods that you just can't stop eating. If you backtrack, you'll usually find an event that kicked off the emotional eating cycle. Write it all down in your journal. What you ate or what you wanted to eat, what happened to upset you, how you felt before you ate, what you felt as you were eating it, and how you felt afterwards. That's a big question I ask people. If you had something, so you had it, but how did it make you feel afterwards? Usually it doesn't make us feel good. Over time, you're going to see patterns. Maybe you'll always end up overeating after spending time with a particular friend, or perhaps you stress eat whenever you're on a deadline or when you attend a certain family function. Once you identify your emotional eating triggers, the next step is identifying healthier ways to feed your emotions. What are you going to do instead of eat? If you don't know how to manage your emotions in a way that doesn't involve food, you won't be able to control your eating habits for very long. You cannot rely on your willpower alone. It doesn't work. It doesn't work when emotions hijack the process, demanding an immediate payoff with food, which we think we get with food, right? So I want you, because we always love to refer back to our life book, if you've read these elements, great, read them again. If you haven't read them, I want you to check them out. So I want you to check out element 4, which is managing your emotions. Element 5 is optimizing your surroundings. Element 23 is master your thoughts and emotions. And element 24 is your journey to higher consciousness. Those are all in the life book. It's 4, 5, 23, and 24. And like I said, if you've read them, read them again. And when you feel these moments of stress, that's the time you go read them a third, fourth time. It's okay. In order to stop emotional eating, you have to find other ways to fulfill yourself emotionally. It's not enough to understand the cycle of emotional eating or even to understand your triggers, although that's a huge first step and really important. You need alternatives to food that you can turn to for emotional fulfillment. Having a list of things that make you feel good or bring you enjoyment is really helpful. So you can write a list, put it on your refrigerator, and when you feel those things, say, no, I'm not going to open the fridge. I'm going to go to one of these things instead. So try some of these things. Here's some examples. If you feel depressed or lonely, call someone who makes you feel better. Play with your dog or your cat, or look at a favorite photo. Go through a photo album that makes you feel good. If you're anxious, expend your nervous energy by dancing to your favorite song, squeezing a stress ball, or taking a brisk walk. Go outside, get some fresh air. If you're exhausted, treat yourself to a hot cup of tea. Take a bath, light some scented candles, wrap yourself in a warm blanket. That always makes people feel good. If you're bored, read a good book. Watch a comedy show. Pull out your favorite movie. Explore the outdoors. Turn to an activity that you enjoy, maybe playing the guitar or the piano, or go out and play basketball or scrapbook. Whatever it is that you like to do, go do that right then when you're bored. This is really important to utilize stop, challenge, and choose. And if you haven't heard that term, you can go to element 4 in your life book and read more about it. But stop yourself. That's a pause when cravings hit and check in with yourself. Most emotional eaters feel powerless over their food cravings. When the urge to eat hits, it's all you can think about. So it's really important to slow the process. You may almost feel unbearable tension that demands to be fed right then and now. Because you've tried to resist it in the past and have failed, you believe that your willpower just can't do it. But the truth is that you have more power over your cravings than you think when you start to utilize all of these tools. Take 5 minutes before you give in to any craving. 5 minutes. You've got to pause for that long. Emotional eating tends to be automatic and virtually mindless. Before you even realize what you're doing, you've reached for a tub of ice cream, then polished it off. But if you can take a moment to pause and reflect when you've hit with a craving, you give yourself the opportunity to make a different decision. And this is where you challenge yourself. Can you put off eating for 5 minutes? Or maybe you just start with 1 minute. That might be a great accomplishment. Don't tell yourself you can't give in to the craving. Remember, the forbidden is extremely tempting. Just tell yourself to wait. While you're waiting, check in with yourself. How are you feeling? What's going on emotionally? Even if you end up eating, you'll have a better understanding of why you did it to start with. This can help you set yourself up for a different response next time. It's important to learn to accept your feelings, even the bad ones. While it may seem that the core problem is that you're powerless over food, emotionally eating actually stems from feeling powerless over your emotions. It's not the food, it's the emotions. You don't feel capable of dealing with your feelings head on, so you avoid them with food. Allowing yourself to feel uncomfortable can be very scary. We all know that. You may fear that, like Pandora's box, once you open the door, you won't be able to shut it. But the truth is that when we don't obsess over or suppress our emotions, even the most painful and difficult feelings will subside relatively quickly, and they're going to lose their power to control your attention. But to do this, you need to become mindful and learn how to stay connected to the moment-to-moment emotional experience. This can enable you to rein in stress and repair emotional feelings that often trigger emotional eating. After you stop, after you challenge yourself, then you choose. You get to make a choice. When you practice this, you will begin to empower yourself to make healthy choices. I'm not going to lie and tell you, you will always make the healthiest choice. You may choose to indulge, but it is a choice. If you've ever told your coach that you've cheated, I guarantee you they've told you you made a choice. If you choose to indulge, do it without overeating, by savoring your food. When you eat to feed your feelings, you tend to do it quickly, mindlessly, consuming food on autopilot. You eat so fast, you missed out on the different tastes and textures of your food, as well as your body's cues that you're full and no longer hungry. But by slowing down and savoring every single bite, you'll not only enjoy your food more, but you'll also be less likely to overeat it. Remember that the 3-bite rule goes a long way here. You get the most enjoyment out of 3 bites. So slowing down and savoring your food is an important aspect of mindful eating. Try to take a few deep breaths before starting your food. Put your fork down between bites and really focusing on the experience of eating. Pay attention to the textures, the shapes, the colors, the smells of your food. How does each mouthful taste? How does it make your body feel? By slowing down in this way, you'll find you appreciate each bite of food much more. Eating while you're also doing other things like watching TV or driving or playing on your phone can prevent you from fully enjoying your food. I am sure we're all guilty of that. I used to be an eater on my commute because it like kept me awake, right? I would have been better to grab a cup of coffee or to grab some water than to just eat all the way home. Since your mind is elsewhere when you're doing that, you may not feel satisfied and continue to eat, even though you're no longer hungry. On my drive, it wasn't about hunger. It was about staying awake. Eating more mindfully can help you focus your mind on your food and the pleasure of a meal and curb your overeating. So I gave you some tools there. Now I want you to support yourself when these moments come up with a healthy lifestyle and creating some habits. When you're physically strong, relaxed, and well-rested, you're better able to handle the curveballs that life throws at you. Because we're always going to get them. We're always going to have those 5 things, right? The stress, the emotions, the habits, the childhood bringing up, all of those things. When you're already exhausted and overwhelmed, any little hiccup has the potential to send you off the rails and straight for the refrigerator. Exercise, sleep, and other healthy lifestyle habits will help you get through difficult times without emotional eating. One thing 100% leads to the other. So here's 4 things that this program is all about, and it doesn't matter which meal plan you are on. These are 4 things that you need to do for the rest of your life. Are you ready? Make daily exercise a priority. Physical activity does wonders for your mood and energy levels, and it's also a powerful stress reducer. And getting into the habit of exercise is easier than you think. You just got to start with 15 minutes. You don't need to go to a gym. You don't need to take an exercise class. You need to put on some tennis shoes and walk out your door and walk for 15 minutes. Or turn on some music and move your body. That's what it is. It's a stress reliever. As you move your body, you're going to increase your energy and your body will crave more of it. This is daily, you guys. Daily. 15 minutes at least of daily movement. Okay, the other is to try to aim for 8 hours of sleep every night. When you don't get the sleep you need, your body craves sugar. And that is what's going to give you that quick energy boost. It's because you're tired. You need to get more rest. So put sleep at the top of your priority. Getting plenty of rest is going to help you control your appetite and reduce your food cravings. You need to make time, this is number 4, for you. You need to make time for relaxation. Give yourself permission to take at least 30 minutes every day to relax, to decompress, and to unwind. And this is your time to take a break from all of your responsibilities and recharge your battery. And it doesn't have to be at the end of the day. I actually do this first thing in the morning, and I combine that exercise with my time. That is my time, and I start my day like that. That's number 3, Ellie, make time for relaxation. So number 4 is connect with others. Don't underestimate the importance of close relationships and social activities. Spending time with positive people who enhance your life will protect you from all of the negative effects of stress. Your coach and our amazing community have your back. We are here for you. This is always a safe place to turn when you need some extra reinforcement. Your coach is only a text away. Our community is on Health Warriors Client Support Group. We are all there. I guarantee you that someone is awake probably 24/7 because we are in different time zones in that group, that if you posted, they might see it. And we are all here live every single Sunday in our Healthy Hangout. So it's really important to just tune into you. There is no shame in this process. We are all guilty of emotional eating, but what we love to do is to support you in learning how to handle it. So hopefully you got a couple of takeaways and you could relate to some of those things. I would love to open it up to questions. I would also love to open it up to hear wins, because we love to hear some client wins each and every week. And that's what drives us into our full week. Anybody have anything to share or ask?
I do, Viola Green.
Hi, Viola, go for it.
So it's a choice. Okay, I understand. It's hard for me to sleep 8 hours because I get up to use the restroom. Like when I drink a lot of water, I just do. Is it okay to take a nap like 2 hours or an hour and a half during the day because I'm able to, and then probably get 4 hours of sleep?
So you probably be better to not take a 2 to 3 hour nap during the day, because that may keep you more awake at nighttime. And if you need a cat nap, I would stick to 15 or 20 minutes. And your body is going to get used to drinking more water, and you aren't going to be waking up all night long. But if you are taking a nap in the middle of the day, you're more likely to stay awake later. So
Thank you.
your body will find its rhythm, I promise.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anybody else got any questions? Wins?
I'd like to say something about going to the bathroom at night.
Yeah, Ellie, go ahead.
Sometimes the older you get, the more you go to the bathroom at night. But I have a sound machine on and I go to the bathroom and my room is dark and it's kind of cold. And I just get back under the covers and I go back to sleep. I listen to that sound machine, I go, and I go right back to sleep. So I don't think that counts as not sleeping. You just get up, you go to the bathroom, you go back and you're back to sleep.
Yeah, I agree. Now, if you get up and you stay up for a half an hour because you look at your phone or you turn on the TV, or, those are the habits that we don't want to do. So you get up and go to the bathroom, you want to go right back to your bed.
Thank you. I do that, but I get up like 3-4 times to go to potty, run back to my bed and go to sleep. But I feel that that's not what you're saying.
I am saying that. You just, whatever time you go to sleep, and then whatever time you wake up, and the little bits of trip to the bathroom, I don't think they really count that much. Just get back to bed.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because
Yeah.
right in that.
And
Okay.
you're in good company with me.
With most people, I think, Ellie. Yeah. Go ahead,
Okay.
Julie.
Well, it's not me. The other person was in the other room, but now she's here, so she's
Hey,
gonna.
Lexi.
Hi, how you doing?
We're good. We can't wait to hear your win. Let's hear it.
So I've been on the program for about a month now, and I've lost more this time than I did the first time I did it. And I feel like my why for starting was a lot deeper than it was the first time around. So I feel like I see a brighter light at the end of the tunnel, and I can see my goal very clearly, and I'm very dedicated to getting there. And I feel like it's gotten a lot easier for me. People around me are noticing more than I have. And I just feel like as I'm losing the weight, I'm gaining a lot of life, and I'm just very happy. And I have my own live-in coach, who's my mom, to keep me on track. So I'm just very happy, and I'm just excited to see all of the life that I gain with all the weight that I lose.
Awesome.
What I'd also like to put in there, for those of you that are new to the community or returning, the thing I love most is my daughter's done the program. This is her 4th time. And she finally found the why for her that has made sense. And she's come to it in different ways. And sometimes, people struggle and it's okay. It's just never giving up. And I love that even though she struggled, she's never given up. And now she's ready to really do the work, but not just the food part of our program. She's actually embracing the mindset piece. And I think that's made a huge difference for her.
Awesome. Congrats, Lexi. We're so excited for you. This is just the beginning, right? It's not the first 30 days. It's really like how you're going to feel. Like I said in the beginning, like how are you going to feel 5 years from now, and how are you going to feel 10 years from now? And this is, your health journey is never ending. And good news is you're young. So you're starting off like on the right foot. So when you continue on with your life, and you're going to get better and stronger all the way through.
And I just wanted to add, I feel like in terms of my why, like what my mom said, I've done it a couple times, but I feel like my why is so strong that even though it gets hard, I don't have the food noise in my head anymore. All I have is the reason as to why I'm doing this and why I'm making the choices. It's not that I can't have things, it's that I'm making a choice as to why I don't want to make that choice for myself. So I feel like I've done a lot of the mental work this time.
Awesome. Yeah. The structure of the program helps to eliminate the food noise, right? You follow it, it works. Awesome job. Thanks for sharing, Lexi.
Have a good one.
Keep us updated. Okay, Lee, go ahead.
Yesterday at work, I turned down some pizza and cheesy bread and brownies. So that was a big win for me. And it's also a win for me to be on this call tonight.
Awesome. It's a win for everybody.
I noticed a lot of the triggers you mentioned are from that acronym BLASTED.
Yep.
So
Yeah, absolutely. When he says blast, it's bored, lonely, angry or anxious, stressed, tired, blast. Yeah. Awesome. Great. Anybody else have anything to share? Okay. Well, terrific. Thanks everybody for showing up. You all deserve a win tonight because you showed up for yourself. And I will challenge you to put some of these things into play this week. So if you find that you are an emotional eater, take some notes in your phone or start a journal. And just notice your triggers. And then we'd love if you came back next week and share how that felt to you. You don't have to tell us what the triggers were, but you can share how it felt for you to start to take ownership of those emotions and work towards your physical hunger and not just your emotional hunger. So have a blessed week. We will see you in our Facebook page.